Joining me now is Congresswoman Karen Bass, Democrat from California, and Crystal Ball. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks for having us on.
Congressman, will Republicans actually force a government shutdown at midnight tonight?
Well, I actually think they will, and I hadn't thought this before the last few times we've been through this. But right now, they don't have anything else left in their playbook. So the idea that they would have us vote on another bill tonight that they know very well is not going to be even taken up in the Senate is doing nothing other than driving the train right over the cliff and leading us into a shutdown. I don't see any other way out of this at this point in time. Now, at any time, if they chose to put the Senate bill up, if they put it up in the next 5 minutes, I guarantee you that it would pass, and there is no need for this government shutdown.
No need. If they put up the bill and had an up and down vote, they could avert this.
That's absolutely right, and that's what we should demand. We should demand that they put up the Senate bill right now.
Now, Crystal, I think that many people need to understand that they refuse to put up the Senate bill, which is passed the Senate, and have an up and down vote, and it would pass. So they are literally choosing not to do that, to force a shutdown, if in fact they fail to do so as they say that they have. And let me show you what the president says, that who will be the ones that suffer. He talked about the toll a shutdown will take. Listen to this.
Hundreds of thousands of these dedicated public servants who stay on the job will do so without pay. And several 100,000 more will be immediately and indefinitely furloughed without pay. They are the customers of every business in this country, and they would be hurt greatly. And as a consequence, all of us will be hurt greatly should Congress choose to shut the people's government down. It would throw a wrench into the gears of our economy at a time when those gears have gained some traction.
A wrench into the government. Hundreds of thousands of people suffer. Federal employees that have nothing to do with the partisan bickering. Crystal, this is unthinkable.
That's right. Federal employees, government employees, public servants who Republicans have demonized over the years. And as usual, Reverend, the people who will feel these cuts the hardest are the ones who have the least voice and the least power in Washington, as you were pointing out. Head Start, people who are beneficiaries of WIC. Those are the folks who these cuts are going to fall, who the government shutdown is going to fall the hardest upon. And as Representative Bass was pointing out, you know, there's a lot of focus on the Tea Party wing. There's a lot of focus on Ted Cruz, rightly so. But there is one man right now who could avoid this whole thing, and that is Speaker John Boehner. If he would bring a clean CR to the floor right now, he is the person who directly bears the responsibility for this government shutdown if we in fact see one tonight, which unfortunately looks very likely at this point.
All Boehner has to do is call a vote. But listen, Congresswoman, to rhetoric from Republicans about Obamacare, saying it will make us all unemployed. Seriously? Listen to this.
As we all become unemployed or move to part-time work, we will see where this devastating law of a one-size-fits-all for everybody health care plan run by the government is not a wise way to go.
I mean, what is he talking about, Congresswoman Bass?
Well, I mean, I think he's talking about complete nonsense. First of all, the bill is not a one-size-fits-all. There's a variety of options that you can select from. But I really think that this is about desperation time. My Republican colleagues are desperate because they know what's going to happen when a person who has diabetes or high blood pressure finds out that they can now get health insurance, when someone who's had cancer and they're not able to continue getting chemotherapy because of the health care cap, and now with health care reform they can get that. They are desperate that if the people enroll in massive numbers, like I believe they will, that there will be no turning it back. Why my Republican colleagues want to deny health care for the American people, I have no idea. And there is absolutely no evidence to back up the claim that people are losing their jobs. How can that be the case if people haven't even started to enroll? And so I think this is a desperate move. They also are moving in this bill that we would be voting on tonight to try to block health care for their own staff and for members. And they're calling it a subsidy when in reality all it is the federal government, like any very large employer, contributes to an employee's health care plan. They don't want that to happen anymore. They're calling it subsidies, and they are lying once again, acting as though what is happening for their own employees is something that is different and we're getting preferential treatment.
You know, Crystal, the politics of this is also, in my opinion, makes no sense from what the Republicans are doing. Because in a new poll, 69% of Americans said the Republicans in Congress are acting like spoiled children.
True.
Well, I think the American people are right. It's obvious. They're throwing a temper tantrum, much like I've seen my 5-year-old do, to try to get their way. I mean, it is not even, we're not even talking about a majority of the Republican caucus here. We're talking about a minority of one branch of the House of Representatives. It's crazy, and it's not going to work because this time the president and the Democrats have stayed strong together. They've stayed true to their principles, and there is no way we're going to let them continue to go down this road of crisis after crisis.
You know, Congresswoman Crystal said it's not even all Republicans. You have Republicans criticizing this shutdown strategy. Just in the last day or so, let me show you some. Senator Susan Collins said, it cannot possibly work. Congressman Charlie Dent called it a fool's errand. These are Republicans. Congressman Peter King says he's tired of having Ted Cruz call all the shots. Congressman Devin Nunes attacked the Tea Party faction. They're all jitty about a shutdown. These are Republicans. They don't even have their own party united on this.
Well, I mean, you know, the fundamental problem here is that Boehner has never led his caucus. He's allowed a handful of his most extreme members to lead his caucus, and he has been following behind them ever since. Now, off the record, a number of my Republican colleagues have told me that, frankly, they're embarrassed by this because it does amount to a temper tantrum. It's just the utmost irresponsible thing that I have seen the Tea Party caucus within the Republican caucus do in the 2.5 years that I've been here.
Well, Speaker Boehner, if he called the vote, he could really do something that's great for the country. We'll see.
He needs to fall on the sword and do it.
Congress, or raise the sword and stand up for something. Congresswoman Karen Bass and Crystal Ball, thank you both for your time tonight.
Thanks, Rob.
And make sure you